Hey there, my name is Amanda Mitas and I'm a needlepoint finisher. Today I'm going to show you how to finish a flat back stand-up with an acrylic foot. Now, I consider myself a professional finisher, but I am not a professional content creator. So please bear with me during this tutorial. You'll see a lot of different projects featured because I always forget to take videos, but I hope that you gather something from my techniques in this video that I cover. Please feel free to reach out on Instagram if you have any questions. Would love to hear from you. This video is not going to cover how to finish a basic shape or how to create cording or anything of that nature. There's tons of content out there by other creators on those various topics, but my intention with this video is to show you how to take your finishing to the next level with the acrylic foot stand-up. So I encourage you to reference any of the links in the description below for basic technique videos. So here's a flat back stand-up with an acrylic foot. In this video, I'm going to cover 3 different techniques so you can get a really nice professional finish every time. So here's the back of the piece. You can see here that I've notched out the back, and I'll show you in this video how to get that technique going. Here's again a view from the front of it. And what I really like about this is that it sits flat to any object that you put it on, and you're not able to see the acrylic from the front. So to do that, you have to notch out the back, and when you insert your acrylic foot itself, and of course here I'm struggling, as you can see in the video, to insert that, but regardless, when you get it actually inserted, you're able to get a really nice, clean, visually clean look on the front of it. The cording covers the entire acrylic foot, so you're not able to see it from the front of the piece, and I think that lends a really nice effect. But I'm going to show you how to make a easel back flat. So what I mean by that is an easel back stand-up. So it's one of those projects that has this little plastic easel inside of it. This is made out of acrylic. They sell these in local needlepoint shops, but I'm going to link the ones that I like to use. I get them on Amazon. The ones from the needlepoint shops are a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller, and they're really good for ornaments, but for pretty much everything else you can use one of these from Amazon, which is pretty affordable. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how I set up the back. The front is exactly like any other shaped finish or regular finish. Here's what the front of this project looks like, and it's still on the blocking board, so I don't really have this part worked on just yet, but I did take a measurement and I got my front size and my back size, so I know it's going to be a good fit. So this is, you can see what the front looks like, and then the back is exactly identical, but I'll show you how I cut the back. What you can see on the back is it's exactly the same size as the front, and what I did is I notched out for your acrylic stand. So what I did is I measured the width divided by 2, measured the width of this divided by 2, and that will give you the middle. So you can see that this fits perfectly in this little notch, just like that. So what you're going to do now is wrap this back in fabric. So obviously, I guess, you know, it doesn't really matter which way it faces. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to wrap it in fabric, because this part's kind of a little tricky too. So you'd wrap it just like normal, but I think the key to making it look really nice is the notching, like right in here. So a couple things I'll go ahead and point out. So when I cut it, first of all, I did this in interfacing. So you'll see there's fabric and then interfacing on it. It's an iron-on interfacing product. So what I do is I cut, you know, a notch here, and then here on the corners, and again, this is just interfacing, so it's no big deal if I do that. This is kind of how it's cut. So you can see I'm notching right at a 45-degree angle into this corner, and then this will all fold back. Same goes on the side. I'm not going to unfold that because it is laying pretty nicely, but this is a good way to get what you're going for, is having this corner nice and wrapped. So from the front, you won't see any like clipped fabric or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and re-clip this where it was. Just pretend that we're doing this in real time. The cool thing about these corners that you can do is you can kind of do almost like a hospital corner, and I'm sure there's a real term for this, but you know. So what you do is you kind of fold it like almost at a, I'd say like a 22-degree angle, like right in here. So you kind of fold it over, and then what you want to do is fold this tab in. And the reason why I'm doing that is because these little areas of fabric and canvas, in fact, they rip. So what you want to do when you do this is basically secure this tab, and this one is kind of nested under, so it'll be nice and secure from the other piece of fabric. It's not going to pull out. I do want to make sure this is nice and tight, so then that way our acrylic piece fits snugly, but still fits. So here I'm going to again do kind of the fold over technique. So fold it and then fold it. Now I'm going to clip all the way around. And then again, you can do these hospital corners. I really like to do these because it results in fewer clips of material. I kind of end up clipping it as I go. But when I started finishing, one of the problems that I had was that I would clip everything and then it would be too small. And then I would get frustrated when I put this all together. So I like to keep more material than is probably necessary as I go along. Okay. Let's just go ahead and do this one like this. Okay. So now I'm going to lace it up. I'm going to start with the four corners to just show you that, and then I'll do this part very, very last. So on the four corners, I like to run this first. I do this on pretty much every standard shape finish. I do the corners kind of in this funky technique that I think results in a nice product, but not too much bulk, and also not too much clipping. So that's kind of what you want to be managing. Oh, we're gonna pump the brakes. So I noticed here that this isn't perfectly level and it's gonna drive me nuts. So we're just gonna level that out a little bit. There we go. Okay, so when you're doing these corners, let me zoom in a bit. So the objective here is to like fold the inside of it down first. So then that way the other like little pieces kind of fluff out on top of it. So you can see it there. Does that make sense? So I'll lace this one to here again. And then we'll go and do this corner. This one. All right, so we got the four corners in and tucked. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I clip and like kind of handle some of this bulk. So now that we're on here, I'm going to go ahead and clip down some of this. Let me get a couple more stitches in here. So let's go like this. I truly don't handle the corners until it's time to handle them. So I guess I'll just follow my typical process. I'm a little thrown off by filming, to be honest, because I'm not used to filming anything, really. So I'll show you this now. So again, this is a normal like, lacing situation. I'm getting to the fun part here. Right, so I'm gonna use these clippers. I love these. These are the Fiskars super sharp spring-loaded nippers. I have these in my highlight, my story highlight for people who are interested in checking them out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take out a little bit of this bulk. So again, folding and then folding. I'm gonna make sure that I have enough fabric there kind of as I work, but certainly reducing some of this bulk here. And I really do like cutting as I go. I think for me, that with finishing, that's been the biggest game changer for me. Because it really, I got so frustrated when I would cut fabric and then it would be too small. And then like the little edges would show and it looks like crap. So just highly recommend, you know, trying out cutting as you go. All right, so I'm gonna leave this part untouched, but I'm just gonna kind of lace in here. And the reason why I am leaving this part untouched is because I believe that it needs a different level of tension than the rest of the piece. So I'm just gonna kind of ignore this and come back to it. So here again, let's take some of this bulk out, and you can tell there's extra bulk because it's folding in on itself, which is fine, but you could probably leave it in there, but I'm just gonna take it out because it does lay nicer if you can get rid of some of that. But again, like same technique, you're just gonna you're gonna kind of pull it at a angle and then fold up. So again, I'm not gonna like get aggressive about puncturing that piece because it is, I'll be honest, it is pretty delicate, but if you layer it, it's not gonna go anywhere. Especially if you think about the physics of the acrylic piece coming in and out, it's not gonna bother that as long as that's pulled to the side. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue my thread. And if anyone's interested, I use these like DMC balls for this. I think this is a 3, maybe? It's whatever the skinnier stuff is at Joann's. I've been thinking about getting a even larger bundle, but this in itself was an upgrade because I have been using smaller skeins, and I hate working with skeins. I don't know about you guys, but they are awful. So the ball is definitely an upgrade. Okay, so just kind of keep going, work your way around. Don't pull your scissors in there if you can help it. That's cool. So I sometimes see people finishing and they do so much lacing on the back. I really don't know if that's necessary. I try to pull it pretty taut as I work around, but I will say that the main goal, I think, with lacing the back is just to get the fabric tight around the mat board. It doesn't need to be like the most secure thing ever, I suppose, because you're going to go back in and you're going to sew it again. If not once, if not twice, then definitely once. Okay, so here's where I'm going to get a little crazy. So this is feeling kind of bulky to me, which is fine because my main goal is to make sure that this corner is beautiful from the front and it looks really good when I have this all pulled taut. But I'm going to just take out some of this bulk just for fun. So there's a couple crazy ways that you can do this. This is the most like insane way that I do it because you have these 2 little wings up here. This tab is already folded down, so you're not going to hit that. And now you have these 2 little wings, and you know, I'm all about saving time. So I'll just kind of cut these off. I know that feels crazy, but you're not going to see any of that. So you can just kind of keep rolling at that rate. I'm going to do it again to this one. So you have these like 2 little wings, and you can literally just like hack at these. And see how much better that looks already. So you just need a good pair of scissors. So here I'm going to kind of grab this one and go through that one just to kind of honestly save time. Because if I can get through 2 sections then at the right angle, then I'm saving a stitch, you know? And when you're doing this semi-professionally, like, it is nice to be able to save a little time. I like to save time in areas that it doesn't matter. Like for your finished product, I think that that's, you know, for me, the way to go. So anyway, now I'm working the sides, as you can see. So I'm going to fold this over, just kind of work these corners a little bit. Okay, so again, some crazy cutting. And then let's do another crazy cut. And I'll just show you up close for the sake of it. So you can see, like, you know, you want to be about 1/4 of an inch in with the tip of your scissors. Like, you don't want to be pointing it right at the tip, but just kind of angle it flat. Don't be scared. The only thing that I'm really scared about is when I'm working with people's precious fabrics from childhood or something like that. I love working on those. It's just a little scarier when you do make a mistake. If you aren't doing any finishing, just always send your finisher a little bit of extra fabric. And then if you are, like, if you screw something up and you need to place a reorder, this design number will allow you to reorder something. I had to do that with a client and it was no big deal. The spoon flower sent me the fabric and I was able to, like, get back rolling. So always an option to reorder. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I mean, you can see that there's little indentations from the clips, but those will go away. I will steam those out and everything will look great. But yeah, I think this turned out nice. And now let's do the tabs at the bottom. So the reason why I do these separately is because I want a different level of tension. These little tabs are, you know, they can be a little delicate, you know, they're pretty thin. Where did my needle go? Oh goodness. They're pretty thin comparatively. I do have them lined with interfacing, which definitely helps with durability, but you just want to be a little bit more gentle on these, and I don't want to affect the tension of the rest of my piece, because I do want the edges nice and crisp. So I like to do these tabs separately. But you can definitely do it all in one fell sweep if your tension preferences are a little bit different. Okay, so again, just kind of getting rolling. This will be quick to show you because it's really just four pieces here that I want to make sure I sew down. So you can start at any one of these. So I have the knot in here. So I'm going to start at the top because I don't want the knot, you know, in my tabs. So I'll start here, and now I'll just pull these tight, but not, you know, within an inch of life, I suppose. I'm pulling these a little bit more gently than the other aspects of this piece. Because, you know, with these tabs, you just want them up and out of the way of that acrylic coming in and out. I developed this method because I really liked the acrylic finishing stands, but I didn't like that you could see canvas behind it. I noticed that with some finishes, like from shops and stuff, and I just wasn't a big fan of like how that looked, even though it's on the back and no one will really see it. Y'all know how seriously we take finishing fabrics on the back, even though no one will see it except for us, but we know it's there. Okay, so let's talk about these little corners right here. Let me just zoom in a sec. So on these little corners, I'm going to try to pull it so the tension goes like See where I put my thread through? I'm going to pull it basically so the tension is in the same direction as this little tab. So I'm actually going to run my needle underneath the tab itself. And this is where I want to be a little bit more delicate because I don't want the fabric to rip. This is a cotton and it's pretty durable, but you know, if you're working with silk, this is a larger concern. So that's why I'm showing you the demo. So here, you just kind of pull it the same direction and I'll show you kind of what the lift looks like. See that? Look at how great that's turning out. You can see that it's pulling it slightly. And I'm just going to kind of go right here. And then let's do the other side. I pray that I have enough thread. So I'll just go in here. And again, this is kind of a little bit more trickier with silk, but with cotton, it's a good example. And you just kind of give a little good tug. And then that's what the back looks like. So I'll show you kind of how everything shapes up. So bury your thread, tie it off in a knot, keep that tension up. As much as possible, and then cut off. Do one double knot here. Okay, so that's it. So that's how it turned out. You have the beautiful little swoop right here for your piece, and that fits perfectly. So we'll go ahead and show you how to do the front and how it all comes together. Thanks for watching. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to sew this on. So I'm going to switch from my regular thread to invisible thread for this part. And I do use a different needle for this. I use sharps, they're called. I think they're for quilting, but they are very sharp and they're like, they feel good in your hand because they're for hand quilters. Okay, so for this invisible thread, I'm actually going to double it up. Normally I just do one. Take that back. I think I always double up. It's late. So I'm going to cut this off. So I have this invisible thread doubled now. I'll tie a knot. It's a little bit of a messy knot, but no one's going to see it. All right. So now I have my invisible thread. I have my piece. I'm going to start on this edge. And the goal here is I'm going to baste this all the way through to the corner. And then I'm going to like tack this down basically on the sides. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, so again, you don't need it all the way up to the stitching. You can leave that part exposed because that's going to be covered with your cording. But you do want the back like perfect. Okay, now that side is done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to tack down the sides. This part doesn't need to be as perfect as the other sections. And you'll see I kind of just tack it to wherever either the cording or the tabs. Because basically you just want to make sure that this part doesn't move when you're inserting the acrylic foot. So now that that's tacked down, let's work on this part. I'm only going to do 1 or 2 stitches here at the top. I'm just going to run it from here to the top to make sure that this doesn't go anywhere. And like for the sides, you could definitely, like I said, you could definitely glue it. You could also, you very much also could use DMC on the sides. I would still use invisible thread on the bottom just for a nice clean look. Okay, that's done. So now you can just knot off. And you are ready to sew your boards together. So again, a few things that I changed when doing this type of finish. 1, you want to notch out your back to fit your acrylic foot. And then 2, you want to line the front with some fabric so you can't see it. Oh, and it makes me happy that those actually line up. So those are the 2 tips. And then what you'll do is you'll sew your twisted cord all the way around, and then you'll be ready to rock. In this case, Katie wants a hanging loop at the top as well as the acrylic foot, so then that way she could sit it on her bar or hang it from her bar. So I will be adding those, the loop momentarily. Showing. So I'm just going to show you how I do this. So basically what I do is this is where I stuff the first one in, and then you can see here that I kind of have it going inside the ornament right there, and then I usually put a pin on the other one just to kind of hold that one in place, and then I start like looping this one over the other. And the objective here is to basically layer these on top and then smush them in. It's very technical. So here I am layering. See that? And now I'm just going to pin this so it doesn't go anywhere. And then just pin like down here too, so then that one doesn't budge. And then gonna pin here too, and we'll do one more pin right here. Okay, so this one I'm gonna let hang out a little bit. Just gonna stuff that in there, and then at that point we can cut off this tail. the stuff way in there so then the acrylic foot doesn't get in. Foot out. Okay, so it kind of looks like that. So that's it layered up. Now I'm going to take the pins out. And you can see it's kind of cute. Okay. And I am happy with how that looks. So when you get to sewing, you can always futz this a little bit more. There we go. It's definitely not perfect, but when you sew it on, it's gonna look amazing. And that's how you do it. So now I'm just gonna repin this into place so then when I go to sew, we'll be in good shape. And this where I joined. So here's the result. You can see that after I sewed the little bunny together, you can barely tell where the join was. It's somewhere in this region around my finger. The other thing that I do is I run the cording in front of the little pocket so it hides the acrylic foot. So again, I know I'm not a professional content creator, but I really hope that you got a lot of value out of this video. If you have any questions about any of the techniques that you see in this video, I would love to help you out. Just send me a DM on Instagram or feel free to add a comment below and I'll get back to you. Thanks so much for watching.